And I really do want to repeat it because I so want you to be reassured that with any frustration that you're going through with this process, it really can be made to be simple and manageable. And so of all the different things I've described this assignment being about the light, being about the halftone, being about rendering and turning form in the lights, getting the three-dimensional subject on the page, all of those things are important, they're useful, they're critical, and they are all made to happen because we have a simple, manageable approach that you can learn, that I can do, all of us with all of our flaws, our shortcomings, our misunderstandings, the things that we don't do well. This we really can do. It takes practice. Ironically, making things simple actually takes a lot of practice to force ourselves to see it this way, because it's contrary to our typical way of seeing these things. But with practice, we can make them so simple and so manageable that they become second nature to us, and then we really enjoy making our portraits at that point. And when you enjoy making artwork, when you have that feeling of sitting down and enjoying the process and coming out the other side with something that you're proud of, when you get yourself to that point, you find that you can't stop yourself from getting back into the studio. Instead of seeing the studio as some place where a frustrating process happens, you find that you just fight for any free moment that you can get yourself back into that studio. So back at the ranch, meanwhile coming back to the ranch here, I am, you see, putting in some tones there in the background because, as stated, I really want those lights to read. I want those lights to pop. So I've decided to put a dark tone there in the background. I'm keeping my silhouette simple. I know that hair is very active. I know that there's all kinds of stuff happening there. But remember, we do the simple thing first, and then we add that complexity afterwards. And that's why I'm doing that. Keeping the big masses. I have dark in the background, then light in the face on the right-hand side, and then dark on the left-hand side of the face. Simple passages of value. And now we're focusing on the simple transition between those big passages of light and shadow. And so you'll notice I'm pushing it around. I have very soft edges as forms turn, like on the forehead where it goes from shadow into light, and over on the left-hand side of the cheek there, the left cheek where it turns and transitions into shadow. Those softly turning forms, I'm giving it a very soft gradual blend. You'll notice I'm not getting caught up in the individual details in the lips and in the nose and in the eye. There's a real drive, there's almost this urgent need, especially in the eye, to immediately start putting that detail work in there. But that detail work is going to sit beautifully if we wait and have something underneath it that's simple and clear. And I'm graphically just going to add the suggestion of her shirt down there, being fairly simple and graphic about it, keeping everything grouped. And continuing, even simplifying those transitions in the face more, because I want this to be one cohesive, just one cohesive image. Emphasizing the individual pieces and parts at this point will kill that cohesiveness that I'm searching for. And you'll see, it's going to be such a simple thing to come back in with my kneaded eraser and quickly pull all of the detail that I need out of those lights. It's going to be simplicity itself when I come back and do that, because of the way that I'm approaching it now, the underpainting, so to speak, the preparation for those final strokes. And so while I'm pushing and pulling and rendering here and trying to turn those forms, I'll let you go ahead and just watch that process, because it's going to be pretty straightforward, mostly using my fingers. And also, if I need to dig in and drag even more charcoal, using just a simple tissue to do that, nothing fancy, Kleenex tissue right out of the box. Make sure you don't have the kind that has lotion added into the Kleenex. That's not going to help your paper or your charcoal a bit. But other than that, I'm just using those things. I also occasionally use a blending stump, and I'll be using a kneaded eraser, as you see me starting to do here, just shaping it so it has kind of a chisel or a point on the end right there, so that I can then come in and find my highlights. And so as you watch me do that, I can tell you a little bit of a story here about this learning curve and the importance of the simple statement, because when I very first started taking art classes, I was going through a program where I had the same life drawing teacher over the course of several terms, and I was really into it. I was really interested in focusing my attention there, and so I was improving, and I was getting to the point finally where I was doing some work that I was really proud of. And so we came to the end of this particular term, and this teacher had us put up some work. We had wall space. Each one of us had a small section on the wall outside of the classroom in the hall, where all the different students, all the different classes, not just art students, but students from all the different college disciplines were going through there. And so we just got a little spot in the wall. And the teacher asked us to have it be representative of the past terms, kind of showing a progression of what we had done over that period of time. And my response to that was, not a chance. Forget it. I'm not putting those lousy drawings up that I did a couple of terms ago. I believed then the same thing that I believe now, and I think I always will. You put your best foot forward.